It is party time in the USA. It is party time in Glasgow. The San Francisco 49ers officially touched down in Govan. And Rangers, the deal is complete. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. People said it wasn't going to happen. People said it was all mirrors and smoke, and it was a cheap attempt to sell season tickets. People says it's 49ers, the US-based consortium was not going to be happening. People said Rangers were not going to have money, and it looks like those people are going to have to eat their words. I mean, Callum McGregor was crying last week, and this might make him cry again, because Rangers could be competitive next season with the 49ers backing them.
I'm just glad they could land due to the recent flooding due to Callum McGregor, but it's a go for Joe, and a certain club with a Tory board ain't very happy about the 49ers touching down in Glasgow. It is a Hail Mary, and hopefully next season can be... I mean, who's going to be Patrick Mahomes for Rangers next season? Is it going to be Luka Modric, ping it like Tom Brady at like 45?
Or is it going to be James Tavernier?
That's the problem though. You know, is it going to be Tavernier or Tom Brady? A.k.a. Luka Modric. We'll have to wait and see, but exciting times ahead.
Aye, so the US-based consortium group have come in. The takeover is complete, led by Andrew Kavanagh, and he has bought 51% of the Ibrox club following months of negotiations. I'm pretty sure when it first came in, was it not like a smaller percentage when the deal was first getting like talked about? I'm pretty sure it wasn't 51%.
No, I think it was always majority.
Was it always?
It was always majority.
Well, I guess that makes sense, because I mean, you want a majority if you want to really take control of the club and lead the club and take charge of the club. And I mean, is there a risk of giving up, a majority stake at the club? I mean, I guess so, but I think Rangers are in a situation right now where, they may as well take any risks they can, because it's not been good. They've been playing second best in Scotland now for 15 years, and that's not where they want to be. One league title in that time, not good enough.
No, it's not good enough, and you know what? I mean, it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be a band-aid, a quick fix. It will take time, but I mean, did we see any alternative with keeping the current board with no money? Getting closer to Celtic? No. And yeah, this seemed to be the only really way forward. It was the light at the end of the tunnel. This was keeping most people breathing this season, man. Because we were going underwater. Not because of Calmac tears. See, once Queen's Park eliminated Rangers, this was the only thing we had. Literally. Looking forward to this takeover, and obviously the appointment of a new manager, but for me the takeover is more exciting than the new manager.
Yep, Rangers fans have been clinging on to this, and now they've got it. Rangers released a statement saying, quote, "The consortium will chart a new strategic vision for the club's future, prioritising on-pitch performance and long-term financial sustainability." End of quote. So I mean, that's pretty much what Rangers want, isn't it? They want on-pitch performance, and they want financial stability. I mean, maybe they want trophies as well, which Rangers probably could have added there. But I guess that comes with long-term financial sustainability and on-pitch performance. If you're delivering both of them, then trophies will probably come with it.
No, absolutely. And the long-term financial sustainability, that's got to do with your Champions League football. And realistically, to get Champions League football, you're going to need to win the league. We've seen in recent years it guarantees it. This year, I mean, Celtic got a better chance than Rangers because they're in the playoff. Rangers in the second qualifying round. And when I read this earlier, they said, 20 million invested into the club. But now it's beginning to look like that 20 million is actually going to be a transfer kitty. Which you said the other day when we talked about Tierney. I thought 20 million might be a bit unrealistic. But you're like, would you want to spend 9 million on Tierney if you only got 20 million? I think 20 million...
No, I thought 20 is about right.
I think 20 million is pretty good, though, without factoring in player sales.
I think 20 is about right. That's what I was expecting. So yeah, I was pretty close, bang on the money actually.
In terms of Scottish football, you can't really complain, can you?
No, I just figured they want to compete with Celtic, and I look at what Celtic spent last season. I thought the Rangers board would spend about 20 million. Mark Tabor, Andrew Clayton, and Jean Schneer will become new board members, if those names mean anything to you, with Patrick Stewart remaining as a chief executive. Current board members Fraser Fortin, John Halstead, and George Taylor will stay on, as Graham Park, Julian Woolhart, and Alistair Johnston step down. Any thoughts on that?
I hope it's not Alistair Johnston of Celtic that's stepping down, but I tell you what, right, Patrick Stewart, I mean, there's a lot of new names in there, a lot of old names, but I don't like Patrick Stewart. I don't want him to remain as chief executive. He seems to
Well,
have a vendetta against his own fans.
he's remaining, so there's not a lot you can do about it. What did Andrew Kavanagh say? He said, quote, "We are deeply grateful for the trust placed in us by the Rangers board, shareholders, staff and supporters. This club's history and tradition speak for themselves, but history doesn't win matches. We know that the true way to honour the club's heritage will be to drive performance. Our focus is simple. Elevate performance, deliver results and bring Rangers back to where it belongs, at the top." End of quote. Fighting words for Kavanagh.
At the top, that's what I want to hear. And, you know, we know it. We all know it. The fact that it's easier to go from second to first than it is for Leeds to go to the top of the Premier League, right? And even without the takeover, you know, it's going to be easier to go from second to first. But it's not an... See catching Celtic, it's not an impossible ask. It really ain't. You know, there's way tougher tasks in football. We have to be real. I mean, they'll look at last season and go, well, Barry Ferguson, with a team that we deem unacceptable, got a few wins. Clermont got a win. You know, so why can't a team that gets 20 million into it with a new manager, a new identity, and you know, just new ideas compete?
Yep,
of course they can.
So Kavanagh and Marafi, the president of the 49ers Enterprises, will oversee all aspects of the club, with new sporting director Kevin Felwell officially starting his role on Monday. As for Rangers, they are in the final stages of their search for a new manager. It looks like David Angelotti is the favourite for that position, but you've also got Russell Martin in there as well. Steven Gerrard, he appears to have dropped out, so has a 3-horse race become a 2-horse race? We're going to have to wait and see. But what did Marafi have to say on the situation? He said, quote, "At 49ers Enterprises, we have built a track record of sporting and business success, but our driving motivation is our deep connection to the clubs and communities we serve. We are excited to join Andrew and our other consortium of investors in a new era for this iconic club. We are determined to build something that supporters can be proud of for years to come." End of quote. Chief Executive Stewart said, quote, "From my earliest conversations with Parra and Andrew, I have been excited and confident in the shared vision and what it could mean for the future of Rangers." End of quote. Fortin added, quote, "I also want to acknowledge our major shareholders whose backing has brought the club to this point, the vast majority of whom have chosen to reinvest in the club and continue with us on to the next stage of the journey." End of quote. So, you know, you've got all these important figures all coming out, saying the things that I think Rangers fans would want them to say, really, that they intend to take this club to the top and they intend to take this club forward and put the club where it belongs. So, I mean, you know, it's pretty much what you expect these people to say. I mean, they're not going to come out and say, well, you know, this club's screwed or whatnot. Is this a sinking ship? They're going to come out, you know, they're going to talk a good game. They're going to talk highly of themselves. They're going to talk about the future success that they want to bring. But I have a feeling that we can actually see that with Rangers. Like, just the money alone and the consortium and the fact that, you know, Celtic, whether they want to believe it or not, they're not miles ahead of Rangers. I mean, I think Rangers have proven that. Hell, Barry Ferguson's unbeaten against Brendan Rodgers. Yeah, over the course of a league campaign, are they double digits in points behind? Yes, but, you know, a couple of decent transfer windows, and I think this Rangers team can be on par with Celtic.
We've seen points gaps overturn. You know, Ange overturned 25 points, right?
What gap was bigger, though? What gap was... I mean, the current gap between Rangers and Celtic, or the gap between Celtic and Rangers when Ange first came in? I think Ange had a bigger gap to bridge.
I think, I totally agree. I do.
So, you know, if Ange can win the title in his first season, do I think Rangers will win the league next season? I don't know, but I wouldn't say it's impossible.
The key thing with Ange was, though, right? I mean, Ange is great, right? He did a great job. But literally, right? Literally every signing he made that first season turned out to be great. You know, Jota, Carter Vickers, Kyogo, Maida, Hatate. Joe Hart did a job, didn't he?
True, but he also didn't get Maida and Hatate until January.
No, he didn't. And, you know, but then they helped massively. Hatate on his debut and all the goals and against Hearts and Rangers, all that stuff. You know, it doesn't mean... See Rangers to win the league next year, right? they don't need to sign 12 players and for every single one of them to be the 12 best players in the league. But they need them. I think they need them, the majority of their signings, to walk into their team and make a decent impact and a big difference.
Yeah, Rangers can bring in 4 or 5 actual difference makers.
Yeah,
Then
we've seen Rangers spend 4 million, right, on duds over the years, run about that fee, right? Barami, Cortez, Proper, Sam Lammers, Danilo and Dessers can kind of be a part of that, even though I think they are a bit better than the rest. Especially, Dessers has scored a lot of goals, even though he's like Marmite. But the 20 million, right?
I hate Marmite.
I don't like it. But see the 20 million, right? That can either be great, you can spend it well, or it can be a disaster, and can Rangers end up like, the window they had under Beale? If you spend 4 million on 5 players, right, that go into like an SPFL team of the season at the end of the year, you're cooking with gas. If you sign 5 players that you're going to be able to sell on at the end of that season because of that shite for 4 million each, then that's the problem. And there needs to be somewhere in between. Ideally not in between, but it needs to be somewhere at the top. But it can't be the opposite. It can't just be either or. You need to if you're signing 5 players, man, you need to have a success rate of like 4 of them are great and 1 of them are shite. Not one is great and 4 is shite, which I feel like for too long has been the case. And in that case, it tends to be the lone guy who's great.
Yeah, that they don't get the keep.
So they need to sort it out.
And the loans to buy that they're contracted to purchase, they seem to be shite.
Yep, absolutely shite.
No pointing fingers at Cortez or Barami, but I mean that's money that Rangers just would rather not spend.
Yeah,
but they're obligated to. So,
but we've spoken about this takeover for 3 months. I'm just glad it's over. But again, I think the good thing is for Rangers and the 49ers, there is a quick fix. Champions League football.
It makes sense. So it does make sense for why they've delayed it. And I know a lot of Celtic fans were, hoping it wouldn't happen and it would fall flat. But I think that the consortium and the 49ers, they'll want a fresh slate. They wouldn't want to announce this deal and for Rangers' form to continue being shit and for the season to end and the end, 17 points behind, and then Celtic go on and win a Scottish Cup. Let's say they won it, they didn't, but let's say they did. I don't think they would want that to happen while this deal's fresh. I think they would just accept, this is a disaster of a season. Let's not announce it during the season. We'll wait till the end. We'll wait till there's a clean slate. And then we can announce this deal and there's no dampener on it.
Yeah, apparently, according to Twitter...
I think it's the same reason why they didn't get a manager in. Because I think they want to bring a manager in with a clean slate that you can get behind and there's no negativity. Let's say that Rangers brought in an Ancelotti or a Gerrard back in March or February when they got rid of Clement. Can you imagine if they had the results Ferguson had?
It'll be right about...
See the dampener? And imagine if the 49ers announced this deal back in March or February. Could you imagine the doubt? There'd be no optimism going into the summer.
No, absolutely.
So I think they did the right thing, waiting until the season completely came to an end and then announce it.
Yeah,
because let's be honest, there's nothing they could really change. The 49ers could have made this deal official back in March. It wouldn't have changed anything. There's nothing they can really do until the summer.
It makes sense to wait this long, but Ancelotti will be announced. Well, I hope it's Ancelotti. Ancelotti screams like the 49ers. Russell Martin screams like the old board. I can't see it being Russell Martin. But, again, there's a lot of things I couldn't see coming and they've happened. You know what I mean? But apparently the 51% was about 75 million. So that puts Rangers about 150 million in terms of value. And then they put 20 million on top of that 75 million. So we'll have to wait and see. There's going to be a lot coming out to do with transfers. Will they spend 20 million flat end? Depends on player sales as well. And we have to wait and see. Champions League football. But the sad thing is, there's only 2 days after Champions League football. Once it's guaranteed in a transfer window. That doesn't give you a lot of time. They can't do what they did the last time. You can't get I know we're looking ahead to the end of August here, but you cannot wait to the last 24, 30 hours of the window before you go into panic station and start signing people, because that's when you sign duds. Look at last season. You signed Barami last kick of the game, and he's shite.
Yep. Anyway, guys, that's it. Let us know your thoughts down below. San Francisco 49ers, US Consortium. The deal's official. And party time at Rangers. And, all of a sudden, it's just got to give you more optimism if you're a Rangers fan going into next season.
It's good for Scottish football seeing, Hearts with the Tony Bloom money. Hibs have got their, not, I was going to say Mick Foley money, but he's called Foley. Even Livy have got the Ford son buying them. A lot of money in Scottish football.
Aye, a lot of money. Give some of it to us. That's it. Till next. That's it. Till next time. Peace.